Solana spent all of 2025 rolling out the red carpet for Wall Street. And how did the market repay them? A brutal 50% crash straight from the all-time highs. On paper, this looks like the trade of the year, gone wrong. We put on the suits, we rang the bell at the New York Stock Exchange, we formed companies to buy and hold SOL, and we started judging a decentralized network by the same metrics that you'd use for a Fortune 500 company. And what did we get for it? The price went down significantly. It looked like we introduced a bunch of institutional sellers and they stole the good vibes of our chain. But I'm going to tell you about some crazy data that I found. Data that proves that this was actually a fantastic trade that has fully restructured the volumes traded on chain. And this has created a whole new paradigm for 2026. Listen up and stick with us to the end to find out just what that means for you. So there is a silent shift that happened in 2025 and one that nobody's really talking about, where meme coins collapsed to under 5% of volume. And yet the chain was pushing record numbers. So is Wall Street killing Solana, or did we just silently win the war? Let's take a look at the charts. So if you were on crypto Twitter for the second half of 2025, you probably wish that you weren't, right? It was doom and gloom, while the ETF chads were buying over $1 billion of SOL. The OG community became increasingly bearish during this time. And I get it. If you bought Solana at $10, you're fine. But if you're down 50% from purchases towards the top and you see us rolling out the red carpet for bankers while hacker houses feel empty, you start to question your bags. Now, there was a post by Amy Street that really summed this up well. She said, "We drifted from the community and builders who carried the ecosystem through every low. It's time to remember what made Solana powerful." And she's right. The builder culture was feeling thin. And the question that I have is, why would anybody from Wall Street come to Solana just to do the same things that they can do on the NASDAQ? But while the meme coin phase was slowly dying and the SOL community was crying that they were being ignored, that massive shift that I mentioned was already happening. And here's the reality that no one is talking about. The DEX volume on Solana has completely rebalanced. We are consistently seeing over $100 billion in total monthly volume, which is consistently above the previous cycle highs. But here is the kicker. Meme coin volume is just a tiny fraction of that. Solana has always been called the meme coin chain. It's been called this for years, right? But look at this. Blockworks now has total monthly meme coin volume at 11%. And we recently had a day where meme coin trading volume plummeted to under 5% of daily DEX volume. We haven't seen meme coin dominance this low since 2023. So this is the silent shift. The volume is above previous cycle tops, and it is sustaining without the casino. People and institutions are trading real assets on chain a lot. And this confirms the narrative has completely flipped. The casino is still open, but the global exchange is now the dominant driver of volume on Solana. This proves that the pivot is actually working. We didn't pivot to Wall Street by accident either. It was a conscious call. Akshay Bedi from the foundation laid it out.
It's going to be a policy mandate as we enter this next decade to make people in society owners of assets. And we think Solana is going to play a critical role because it's the only technology stack that is capable of doing this.
2025 was about US policy and Wall Street. We had to do this. We had to appeal to the biggest market in the world to bring in fresh capital. You can't replace the global financial system if you can't even talk to it, right? Be honest with yourself also. The meme coin meta, it got tired, and the volumes reflected this. So, did we benefit? Let's take a look at what is actually being built right now. We are becoming the marketplace for trading everything. I'm talking about stocks on chain. If you're in Asia or Europe, buying US stocks is a nightmare of hours and fees. On Solana, it's 24/7. Instant settlement, global distribution. We are literally building a better NASDAQ with products like Remor's R stocks. And look at Monad listing the Mon token on Solana via Sunrise 1 hour after it launched on its own chain. This is massive. We have Wrap Bitcoin, Zcash, Hype, XRP. They're all integrated here. This is the internet capital markets vision coming true. Yeah, it's boring compared to a meme coin pump, I know. But it creates long-term holders and provides a better trading experience for anyone with access to the internet. Now, this brings me to my main point for 2026, the institutional floor. So we saw Bitcoin correct from 126K down to 80K in late 2025. The whole market shifted down. Usually in a flush like that, altcoins and other assets like Solana get absolutely obliterated. I'm talking 80 to 90% drawdowns. But that did not happen. Why is that? Because we have ETF flows now. We have massive treasuries holding SOL. We have buyers who aren't panic selling because they're looking at a 10-year horizon. My guess is that we didn't see the price go as low as it could have because these buyers were silently stepping in. This is a whole new market structure. So what does this mean for us for 2026? The charts are starting to wake up. People are back at their desks. The ETF chads are active. I've heard people always say that Solana is just levered Bitcoin, that it's a little bit further out on the risk curve when you look at crypto, so the volatility is higher. Well, with this new institutional floor maintaining buying pressure, I think that leverage is really about to work out in our favor. I mean, think about it. We have the perfect setup. We've got fundamental strength with record volumes, again, 100 billion plus monthly. We have structural support with institutions holding the floor. And we've got a macro recovery. The market is recovering from this Bitcoin dip. This is really the rocket fuel that we needed. Solana had a great year fundamentally in 2025. And now I think we are about to see the price action finally catch up to those fundamentals. Obviously, this is not financial advice, and we're focusing a lot on the price of SOL here. But another important part is that a lot of institutions are building on top of Solana as well, turning up the use and utility that Solana provides. ETFs are staking their SOL. DATs have a mandate to maximize their yield on SOL and are getting heavy into DeFi. Some are even farming airdrops as additional yield. All of this is bullish, and every founder and builder that we spoke to at Breakpoint was focused on the use cases and building on Solana for the long term. I think we have a bright future ahead of us on Solana this year, and I'm as bullish as I've ever been. We just onboarded the buyers who will be here for the next decade. We gave them a path to come on chain. Now, it's our job to keep building so that they have a reason to stay. Your job as a Solana manlet, as a builder, as a holder, is to ride this wave. Stake your coins, contribute where you can. We cater to TradFi to get the rails in place. This does not mean that Solana is no longer the fun chain. It will only amplify it. Now, we use those rails to bring the SOL back.